instead of tending to her crying baby in pain. Gypsy Rose, who claims to be a victim of Munchausen by proxy. She is seen seeking sympathy for herself while recording her baby crying in pain. How many takes did it take? A very disturbing watch.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard posts that to her stories. You can't tell me that that doesn't sound like a baby that's in pain. That doesn't just seem like colic. Look, I might be completely wrong. This is just my opinion in terms of me having two babies. That's a different type of cry. Okay. Secondly, if you have a colicky baby and you've had a rough night, would you have a video of you dancing, doing the pew pew sign with your hands and stuff? Like, would you, third night in a row, you're saying you were out there doing dancing videos? Furthermore, I find it really odd that you have a colicky baby that's the third night and you prop your camera up to record it.
Toot that ass. If you a ball player, I'm trying to recruit that ass. Say that this is ice cream, you wanna scoop that ass. Turn around, do the brown, Uncle Luke that ass. Say, they shoot it.
I just watched. Oh my God, Cardi, hire her right now, dude, as a backup dancer. I'll sign a petition. You need to hire her. Yo, I'm telling you, the best times to be on TikTok is between 2 to 4 in the morning. Between 2 and 4 in the morning is when the funniest shit be popping on my FYP, and I'm not mad. Low key, I got second hand embarrassment, and I thought this lady didn't even have a TikTok anymore. I thought she got banned or hacked or something. I don't know. Either way, I support it. I support it. I legit needed to start my day off with a laugh. I appreciate you, Gypsy.
Hey everybody. So I am almost 4 months postpartum, and I think I'm experiencing postpartum hair loss.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is back in the spotlight, and not in a way anyone expected. Just when people thought things might be settling down in her chaotic new life as a mom, she drops a TikTok that has everyone's jaw on the floor. No, it wasn't a cheesy couples post with Ken. This time, it was a raw, unfiltered video of her newborn daughter Aurora screaming her lungs out, loud enough to rattle your eardrums. But it wasn't just the noise that had people concerned. Oh no, TikTok detectives took one look at that video and started analyzing like it was the Zapruder film. The comments came in fast. Why is she filming her baby crying instead of, comforting her? And then things got darker. Some viewers noticed what they claimed looked like redness on one of Aurora's arms. A few even alleged that Gypsy might have done something to intentionally provoke the crying, like pinching her baby. Yes, people are seriously suggesting that Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the same woman who orchestrated her mother's murder, could now be harming her own child for content. It sounds extreme, but this is literally what people are saying online. One commenter wrote, "Zoom in on that baby's arm. It looks red, and there's a lamp nearby. I think she's pinching the baby to make her cry." Another chimed in, "That cry doesn't sound normal. It sounds like a manipulated cry." A third added, "The baby's left arm looks stiff and red." That's not right. And trust me, these aren't isolated takes. There are hundreds of comments echoing this same theory. To be clear, we're not saying any of this is fact, but the sheer number of people picking apart this one video is honestly wild. Gypsy did respond eventually, but not in the way people expected. She posted an update thanking people for their suggestions on how to soothe colic, saying, "It truly does take a village." A sweet sentiment on the surface, but it dodges the entire controversy people are fired up about. So here's the thing. Accusing a mother of hurting her newborn baby is a huge deal. It's not something you throw around lightly, and it's certainly not something you conclude based on a blurry TikTok. Babies cry. Newborns especially. And colic is no joke. Parents all over the world struggle with it. Plus, a red arm on a baby could be from literally anything. Pressure from how they were laying, sensitive skin, or even just a trick of the lighting. But then again, this is Gypsy Rose. And when your entire public history is built on manipulation and betrayal, the court of public opinion tends to come down hard, even when the evidence is paper thin. Here's the real tea. Accusing any mom of harming her baby is serious. But when it's Gypsy, the skepticism dials up to 100. Is this just another case of the internet overanalyzing? Or is there something shady going on? And hey, Don't be like Ken and bail early. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Unless you're scared of real commitment. Stick around till the end, because we've got receipts you won't believe.
Y'all, let's talk about this baby crying video, okay? So many people have sent me this video and wanted to see what my reaction to it was. Do y'all really want my reaction? Okay. My reaction is, it's a manipulation tactic. That whole video is a manipulation tactic because Ken is away. Let's be real. If you're a mother, like I am, then you know that babies usually don't start becoming colic at 3 to 4 months. That baby's what, 3, 4 months old now? You don't just become colic at 3 to 4 months. Usually it's a newborn thing, and then colic resolves itself at 3 to 4 months. Does that mean that's the case in every case? No. But that's the usual, that's the norm. I don't know. This doesn't look like a real mom struggling with colic. I don't know if y'all have ever had a baby with colic, but I have, and there ain't nobody setting up a camera. There ain't nobody putting it up on a tripod, pressing a button so we can catch the exact instance where, oh my goodness, I look exhausted. There ain't none of that happening when you actually have a baby with colic.
Now look, I'm not going to sit here and say that everyone pointing fingers is totally off their rocker, because honestly, I get it. Even I had a moment where I thought, dang, could Gypsy really be doing this to her own baby? And that's the thing. When it comes to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, it's not hard to imagine the worst, because she's built that kind of reputation. Let's be real. She's the kind of person whose history makes people second-guess even the most innocent things. She's earned the public suspicion, fair or not. Let's break down the logic for a second. If there was a motive here, it would probably revolve around one thing: attention. Plain and simple. Some folks online are saying the crying wasn't just random. It was calculated. That Gypsy may have done something to get Aurora crying just so she could film it and post it online. Again, we're not saying she actually did that. But when you think about her social media behavior lately, it does raise some eyebrows. For someone who swore she'd keep her baby private, Gypsy's been posting a lot, and this video in particular, a clip of her newborn sobbing uncontrollably, that doesn't scream proud mom moment. That screams look at me. And when you zoom out and consider her past, it gets even messier. This isn't just any influencer oversharing online. This is a woman whose mother was allegedly suffering from Munchausen by proxy, a condition where a caregiver fakes or exaggerates someone's illness for attention. Now, not everyone buys that Dee Blanchard had it. There are valid arguments on both sides. Some researchers believe Gypsy actually had a handful of legitimate health issues, that she needed some of that medication, and even the wheelchair for a time. But at the same time, no one can 100% diagnose Dee posthumously, and many agree she had at least some manipulative tendencies. So here's where it gets really weird. If Dee exaggerated Gypsy's conditions for sympathy, is it possible that Gypsy inherited some of that same behavior? Some people think so. There's even a name for it: malingering, when someone fakes or exaggerates illness for personal gain, whether that be attention, sympathy, or even money. And suddenly, a video of a screaming baby posted online, instead of being soothed, it doesn't look like just bad parenting, it starts to look like a pattern. Because let's be honest, when your baby is wailing like that, your first instinct should be to comfort them, not whip out your phone, film it, and throw it on TikTok. So what do you think? Is this just an exhausted new mom making a questionable social media choice? Or is there something darker at play? Drop your theories below and stick around till the end, because we've got some shocking comparisons between Gypsy's behavior now and Dee's past actions.
And nobody is sitting there as a mother with a child with colic, looking at a camera, looking at the whole tripod stood up there, trying to get that caught on film. That's just not a thing in real motherhood. I'm sorry, that's the truth. Do I believe that this was posted right after Ken posted that video of being in Mississippi? Yeah. I believe that this whole facade, this whole video that she put out there, was absolutely a manipulation tactic. to sit there and one, make him feel bad and make everybody else feel bad. Like, oh my gosh, I got to be a whole mother all by myself. That's what I think on that video. I'm not looking at a mother who actually has a baby with colic. And let's be real, if that baby was colic, you wouldn't have an hour and a half to be spending on lives every Monday, because babies don't care if you're on live or anything else that's going on, okay? They don't. They're going to cry. And they're usually inconsolable when they go through these colic fits. I'm just saying. It's not just in the middle of the night. Colic usually happens all day, any time of the day, for hours, 3-4 hours at a time. All right? There is nobody setting up a camera to catch a colicky baby moment. I'm just saying that's not a thing in real life.
And look, this isn't just about Gypsy Rose. Part of the reason why so many people are hesitant to dismiss these accusations as crazy or too far is because, let's be honest, we've seen way too many horror stories unfold online. The internet has shown us the dark side of motherhood, where some moms have done unthinkable things to their kids just to chase likes, sympathy, and even money. We're talking about women who have literally poisoned their babies, made them sick on purpose, all for that viral sob story and a GoFundMe payout. So at this point, when people see a mom, any mom, doing something even slightly off with their child, the public's going to react. They're going to watch closely. They're going to sound the alarm. And honestly, can you blame them? Because that's how these things usually start. It never begins with full-blown abuse. It starts with little, subtle things. A pinch, a lie, a look at me post. And people are getting smart to that pattern. What we're witnessing now might just be social media doing what social media does best, oversharing and overanalyzing. But for once, it might actually be a good thing. Maybe people are finally learning how to spot red flags before it's too late. And if you think the concern is overblown, just Google some of the more disturbing cases. One of the most infamous? The Harris family case, where a mother deliberately poisoned her child to mimic symptoms of a brain tumor. Why? To collect donations. Over $60,000 to be exact. She built an entire online persona around being a struggling mom of a sick baby, all while putting that child in actual danger. And that's not an isolated case. So no, we're not saying Gypsy is heading down that road. Let's make that clear. But when people see her posting videos of her baby crying hysterically, especially with her controversial past, they're going to raise their eyebrows. They're going to ask questions. And that's not hate. That's vigilance. Because sadly, too many parents have already shown us they can't always be trusted, even with the most precious thing in the world, their own children. So what do you think? Is this just social media overreacting? Or is Gypsy's video a legitimate red flag? Sound off in the comments. And stick around till the end, because we've got a shocking deep dive into how Gypsy's past behavior compares to other infamous mommy scandals.
I am absolutely shooketh to the core about this Harris family saga. This is in Australia, so I know I've got other people following me. There was a mother in Australia, had 4 children, a husband. Her daughter fell ill and wouldn't wake up. Little did anyone know, including the medical team that were trying to figure out what was happening with this little baby girl with multiple brain surgeries to see what was going on. Why wasn't she waking up? Her mother was drugging her. So people are like, why? Why was she doing this? She started a GoFundMe page, which there was thousands and thousands of dollars donated to help this family. I could never even fathom pretending my child was sick to get money, to get famous. Like in the next clip, she says that her baby girl has brain tumors. It is all a lie. As you can see, she's not actually shedding any tears, and she becomes more upset about her coffee machine.
Brain is covered in tumors, and what is worse is that we found this out on the same day that our other daughter passed away 4 years ago. I don't know whether that's like Lily saying that she's here with us, or if it's just a really shitty day. But I need a coffee, so let's make a coffee together. I also don't have a coffee machine, and I really need a new coffee. Like, I really need a real coffee right now. But I've just got the stick ones. It's gonna have to do.
I don't know about you, but that does not look like genuine sadness, and it is because it was all a lie. I am feeling for, also, this is what the husband wrote on Snapchat, saying that he had nothing to do with it and that his wife Alana was doing this all behind his back. Meanwhile, this baby girl has had multiple surgeries because they couldn't figure out why she just kept sleeping, and it was because she was drugged with Valium. Like my chest is so tight. How could someone do that to an innocent baby? Anyone. But do you know who I'm also feeling for? The other 3 children that are now taken into custody because they don't know if the dad had anything to do with it or if he was involved. He's claiming that he didn't. What do you guys think? I don't know. She's got 1.1 million followers on TikTok. She actually turned all the comments off about a month ago, so I think this is when she started getting a few questions asked. She also put her Instagram on private. I'm just feeling for those children so much. This is just trauma for life. Anyway, if I've missed any bits, put it in the comments, but that's pretty much what's happened in a nutshell, and I feel sick about it.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Gypsy's relationship with her own survivor story. Because when you actually watch her engage with other medical abuse victims, something feels off. It's like watching someone read a script about grief at a funeral they weren't actually invited to. No depth, no real connection, just surface-level reactions that leave you wondering, does she even understand the trauma she claims to represent? But here's where things really start to unravel. When Gypsy had the chance to connect with other survivors, people who genuinely lived through medical abuse, there was no emotion, no depth, no curiosity. It was like watching someone stroll past a house on fire and casually go, "Wow, that's hot," before continuing on their way. This could have been a powerful moment, one where Gypsy stepped into the role she claims to represent, a voice for Munchausen by proxy survivors. She could have asked something meaningful like, "How are you healing?" or "What helped you cope?" You know, something human. But none of that happened. What we saw instead felt hollow. Almost like she doesn't really get the trauma because maybe she never actually lived it. Let's be real. Her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, was never officially diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy. That label came after her death, mostly pushed by the media. And what makes things murkier is that medical records and past interviews suggest Gypsy was actively lying to doctors and her mother. She told them she couldn't walk when she could. She chose to sit in the wheelchair. That's not classic abuse. That's manipulation. But instead of people holding space for that contradiction, the world crowned her the ultimate survivor. Meanwhile, real MBP victims, the ones who were poisoned, starved, suffocated, even surgically altered by their parents, are barely acknowledged. They're watching this all unfold from the sidelines while Gypsy gets the sympathy, the spotlight, and the platform. And what makes it even more frustrating is how she's monetizing that identity. She goes live, accepts gifts, and performs this survivor narrative that falls apart under basic scrutiny. In doing so, she drowns out the voices of people who actually endured it. For them, watching her capitalize off what many believe to be a borrowed trauma isn't just upsetting, it's straight up insulting. But of course, when the topic shifts to something about her, like her weight loss, suddenly Gypsy lights up. No hesitation, no disconnect. This was her lane. She dove into the details like she'd rehearsed it. She said when she left prison, she weighed around 145 pounds, which at her height of 4'11", she considered overweight. She blamed it on the junk food in the prison commissary, saying the meals were so bad, inmates just lived off packaged snacks. Then, she added that even after 3 months of living with Ryan post-release, her weight hadn't budged, until she got pregnant. That's when, according to her, she started eating cleaner, healthier, fresher food. By the time she gave birth, she claimed she had dropped down to around 120 pounds. Naturally, people were curious. What was the secret? And that's when Gypsy, never missing an opportunity to keep the focus on herself, tried to make a joke out of it. "If you want to lose weight like me," she said. Maybe go to prison, get fat, and then come out and get skinny. Charming. What's your take? Is Gypsy's survivor label legit? Or is she capitalizing on a trauma she didn't truly experience? Sound off below and stay till the end because we're breaking down the stark differences between her story and real MBP victims' experiences.
Oh, thank you for watching every week. Oh, thank you, Ellie. You're a Munchausen survivor? Oh, I'm so proud of you. My blessings go out to you. Many good vibes your way. And then when I got out of prison, I was 142, 145-ish. And so the 3 months that I was out before I got pregnant, I had not lost any of the prison weight. So fast forward, I get pregnant. And upon getting pregnant, my initial weight intake was 142. So of course, throughout my pregnancy, I was eating better because I was not eating the prison food anymore. And so the weight started to fall off me, even though I was pregnant, and most people gain weight when they're pregnant. I was losing the weight because I was losing that prison weight and stabilizing what should be my norm. So by the time I gave birth to Aurora, where she weighed 6 pounds, 5 ounces. And I, probably like 5 days after having her, I checked the scale and I was 120. So I lost like 20 pounds over the course of the 9 months because my body was still acclimating to being out of prison. So, I mean, for me, it's a very specific reason that I lost weight. A lot of people ask me, like, how did you lose the weight? You know, I'm trying to lose weight. Well, I mean, go to prison, get fat, come out, you're going to get skinny again. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's just how it is for me.
Let's be real. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's attempt at dark humor didn't land. It face-planted. Comparing prison to a weight loss program isn't just tone-deaf. It's downright disturbing. Most people leaving incarceration don't crack jokes about it. They struggle to rebuild their lives. But Gypsy, she's out here treating her murder conviction like a punchline, as if plotting her mother's death was just a quirky detour on her wellness journey. This attempt at humor wasn't just cringy, it was revealing. Gypsy's trying to spin the narrative using jokes, but all it does is expose how deeply detached she is. There's no remorse, no real acknowledgement of the serious crime that put her behind bars. Instead, she reduces the whole thing to a casual quip about carbs, like she's recapping an episode of The Real Housewives, Cell Block D. There's a difference between dark humor and straight-up disrespect, and Gypsy bulldozed right over that line. And for someone who knows the entire internet is watching her every move, you'd think she'd be a little more calculated. But that's the thing. Gypsy doesn't seem to care. If anything, she thrives off the shock factor. She toes the line just enough to stay in the headlines, but never far enough to face real accountability. It's not just tone-deaf, it's disturbing. Then came another question that actually mattered. Someone asked about her work life. It's a valid point. She's a convicted felon who served time for a violent crime. Most people with a background like that struggle to reintegrate into society, especially when it comes to employment. So naturally, people wanted to know, how exactly is she making money? Gypsy's answer? She said she considers herself a social media personality. According to her, her job now includes being the subject of a reality TV show, writing books, and managing her online presence. That's right, turning her criminal past into a full-on influencer career. Because in 2025, apparently, murder gets you brand deals.
Am I able to work? Well, I mean, I consider like my job to be a social media personality. Also, like my show is my work. Being an author, because I wrote 2 books, that's my work. So I don't have a typical 9 to 5. I consider like the whole media personality to be my work.
Let's not pretend this is anything other than what it is. Every opportunity Gypsy has right now, her show, her books, her online presence, only exists because of a murder case. Lifetime isn't filming her because she's inspirational. They're cashing in on the public's obsession with her crime. Her writing wouldn't make waves if it weren't wrapped in the spectacle of her past. This isn't a career built on passion or qualifications. It's all rooted in a tragedy that ended with her mother dead. She's not building something sustainable. She's profiting off infamy. The reality show is about life after lockup. Her books, centered around the same crime that made headlines. Her whole online brand is glued together by shock value and curiosity. Take away the courtroom drama, and there's no platform left. And when the buzz fades, and it will, what's the backup plan? Gypsy mentioned maybe getting a real job at some point, but right now she's sticking with social media because it's convenient and she can do it from home. She also says she doesn't trust anyone else to care for her baby. Not daycare, not relatives, which is why she's doubling down on her online grind. But let's be real, this isn't hustle culture, it's digital panhandling dressed up as content creation.
Honestly, if you guys would stop judging Gypsy Rose Blanchard, that would be fucking nice, okay? Yo, she's doing her damn best. I mean, shit, she's trying. I mean, she keep the kid. She's trying everything she can. You can't tell me she's not doing the most over there. And I like her show. It's making me feel bad and bad every time. The social medias is not your guys' friend, okay? I mean, you think you'd stay off of it, but no, never gonna happen. Listen, Gypsy, you're looking for help. You want me to send my mom? I mean, don't get rid of her. Don't do nothing to her. You know, we're gonna need her for later, but you want to borrow my mom? You look like you need some help with the baby. I mean, I would just put her out back like Christy would. You know what I'm saying? That's how she deals with the crying. She don't have to hear her. Gypsy, I got a ton of advice. I don't know if you should take it, but I got some. Listen, Gypsy, I'm really going to send my mama your way, and she's going to help you out because the baby will be fast with her. She's like the baby whisperer. My mom is like the baby whisperer. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to drop my motherfucking kids off with her. You can't tell me that's not nice. Gypsy, I'm being real nice. Kenan, help her with the baby. Shit, come back. She's working on it, people. She's trying, people, okay? She's doing the best she can. The kid's fine. The kid's gonna be fine. Literally, don't worry about nothing. Gypsy got this, Christy got this. She got everybody. They have this. Don't you worry about nothing, bumpkins.
She hops on live streams, racks up virtual gifts, and leans into the character the internet expects from her. That's not building a business. It's performing for pity tips. And the worst part? Many of her viewers either don't know the full story or they're willfully ignoring it. She's not sharing her real life. She's curating a version that people will pay to watch. And like any show, there's only so long it can go on before the audience tunes out. Gypsy even tried to paint herself as overwhelmed, saying she doesn't have time for personal hobbies anymore. Can't read the books she buys, hasn't had a peaceful bath in ages, and her baby keeps her hands full around the clock. It's a familiar story for many moms, but with Gypsy, it feels like another carefully placed sympathy card to keep people watching and paying. Your turn. Should Gypsy Rose be allowed to profit off her crime? Or is it time to stop feeding the machine? Sound off below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because whether we admit it or not, we can't look away.
Things from the diaper genie, picking up the trash, like, it's nonstop. I haven't even had a chance to, like, do my nails or anything. I don't even want to talk about how long my toenails are. Like, real talk. This is mom life. We don't have time for hobbies. Can't even tell you how many times I'm, like, in the middle of like, taking a bath, and Ken will be at work, and I think I've put Aurora to bed. I'm like, okay, she's in bed, she's asleep, I'm gonna take a nice bubble bath. And I get in the bath, I'm like, no. So I get out the bath, wrap a towel, throw something on like a robe, and I'm holding her. I'm like, okay, mommy's here, mommy loves you. And by the time Ken gets back home, I'm like, you know, I haven't showered, I haven't shaved, I haven't shit, I haven't done nothing.
But let's zoom out for a second and actually look at what we're seeing. Gypsy isn't going live once in a blue moon. She's hopping on several times a week. And in the exact live stream being picked apart here, she literally kicked things off by saying baby Aurora was asleep, and she thought she'd use that downtime to go live. Not nap, not unwind, not crack open a book. No. She chose to perform, so which version of Gypsy are we supposed to believe? The exhausted mom who never has a moment to breathe, or the influencer who always seems to find the time for multi-hour live streams and real-time commentary on her own reality show. Even when Ken's supposedly home helping with the baby, Gypsy claims she still doesn't get a break. She's vacuuming, organizing snack drawers, folding laundry. But somehow, she manages to carve out time to plop down on camera, monitor comments, react to herself on TV, and hand out shoutouts like it's a Twitch stream. And let's be real, if she really wanted that bubble bath she keeps whining about, what's stopping her? Why not take a 20-minute soak instead of starting another live session? Why not trade 5 minutes of TikTok scrolling for 5 pages of that book she keeps mentioning? The time is there. She's just choosing the spotlight over silence. Her actions make her priorities loud and clear. It's not about being too busy. It's about how she uses her time. Gypsy isn't being stretched thin. She's just fully invested in her online persona. And that's where the contradiction lives. The Gypsy who talks about being drained and overworked doesn't line up with the Gypsy who shows up online perfectly put together and ready to entertain. It's selective exhaustion. Tired when convenient, energized when the cameras are on. Then, there's the bit about birth control. Like most things with Gypsy, her explanation was a little all over the place. She said she's not trying to get pregnant again anytime soon, fair enough, but then casually mentioned she's currently on not 1 but 2 forms of birth control. An IUD called Kyleena and the pill. That's double protection. From what exactly?
Why does people keep asking me if I'm pregnant? I'm not pregnant. I have the IUD, guys. I got the IUD whenever I went in for my, I had to reschedule my appointment several times because I couldn't get there. But I had my postpartum checkup or whatever. And so we scheduled me to have an IUD. So I have the Kyleena. I think the Kyleena is what I have. And then on top of that, I'm on the pill as well to regulate my cycle. So, double birth control. So the possibility is impossible. Why do I look pregnant? Jeez.
Gypsy insists she's doubling up on protection, hormonal IUD and birth control pills, which medically speaking is like wearing a belt and suspenders. Doctors rarely prescribe both, unless there's a major underlying condition. So, is this a legit doctor's order? Or is Gypsy overcompensating after last time's oopsie with Ken? Remember when she claimed she was on the pill? And then surprise, baby Aurora entered the chat? Now, from a medical perspective, what Gypsy's claiming doesn't really track. Most women typically rely on either a hormonal IUD or birth control pills, not both at once. Each method is designed to be effective on its own, so using both simultaneously isn't standard unless there's a very specific doctor-approved reason. And given Gypsy's complicated history with honesty, it's hard not to question it. Is this dual method story coming from an actual medical recommendation, or is she just trying to overcompensate and make it crystal clear to the public that another surprise baby is not on the horizon? Because let's not forget, last time she told Ken she was on the pill and, well, we saw how that turned out. So now claiming she's double protected kind of feels like she's trying too hard to seem responsible. It's not reassurance. It's overcorrection. And then came the moment that probably bruised the ego a bit. Viewers in the live chat pointing out that she looked pregnant. Yikes. That had to sting, especially after all her proud talk about losing weight post-baby. To go from celebrating a slimmer figure to facing speculation that she's already expecting again? Definitely not the feedback she was hoping for. But this is the Gypsy pattern. 1 week, she's making declarations. The next, she's tripping over her own words. Her stories change like the wind. 1 minute it's birth control updates, the next it's contradictions that unravel everything she said before. Whether she's really on 2 forms of contraception or just performing damage control, one thing's for sure. When it comes to Gypsy, clarity is always the first casualty. Now, let's talk custody because her narrative isn't lining up there either. Gypsy insists she's with her baby 24/7 and never has time to herself, but the receipts say otherwise. She's constantly online without the baby in sight, and when the baby is around, It's usually for short, curated moments or in what seems like supervised settings. She claims CPS isn't involved, but the way she dances around her situation says different. The court knows her background. This wasn't just a violent crime, it was a premeditated one, and she's still on parole. Supervised custody wouldn't be shocking at all, and honestly, she may have unintentionally confirmed it. Remember when she said she only went live because Aurora was asleep? That tells us two things. One, she does get downtime, and two, she chooses to spend that downtime on camera, not parenting. And maybe that's the real answer. Gypsy's full-time job isn't motherhood. It's playing the lead in her own reality show. But fantasy only stretches so far. Eventually, real life cuts through the script. This live stream wasn't just some innocent conda. It was a masterclass in tone-deaf comments, emotional disconnect, and non-stop self-obsession.
I'm not the liar, Lifetime is, but let's spin a block on something real quick, since y'all got a lot to say.
I'm gonna tell you like this. She knows what not to do. No, they did not break up. Somebody put it on a banner, on a forehead, something. They did not break up. I wish I could run a banner across this like you can on StreamYard that says they did not break up. This has been the craziest mess. I mean, they're so, and this is what I'm saying. I mean, when people make up these rumors and these lies just for clicks and views. Right. But they are very well aware that they have a snake in their midst. Yes, we're very aware. And like I said, I think I know who it is. And I got to do a little more digging. But like I said, Natasha will be the first to know. Yeah. Because I'll let Natasha blow this shit all out the water. How do you have a snake if it's not true?
Do you hear how quiet she got? Because she realized she slipped up. If what I was saying wasn't true, Christy would have never said that.
From joking about prison as a diet plan to brushing off serious custody questions, Gypsy keeps showing us who she really is. And spoiler alert, it's not the reformed, misunderstood woman she's been trying to sell. She wants to be seen as a survivor, a changed woman, a doting mom, and a relatable influencer, but what we're actually seeing is someone spinning every situation to keep herself relevant. She's not evolving, she's just performing. And performances always come to an end. All right, y'all, if you made it to the end of this roller coaster, first of all, your attention span deserves an award. Seriously, Netflix wishes it had you. Now, before Gypsy goes live again and rewrites the entire storyline, go ahead and tap one of the videos on your screen to keep following the drama, because you know this saga is far from over. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you doing? It's free, it's easy, and unlike Gypsy's birth control claims, it actually works. See you on the next one.